unless you're failing in some things, you're not trying hard enough, in my opinion, because it is absolutely inevitable that you're going to fail. I really hope people don't fail in finding the right home. Let's try to eliminate most of that. I don't necessarily call it a failure because I learned from it and it brought me to where I am now.
Welcome to Momentum in Real Estate, your guide to success in the dynamic world of real estate. I'm Cory Wolf.
And I'm Kristin James. Whether you're just starting out or a seasoned pro, we're here to help you reach new heights.
Success in real estate comes from learning, growing, and serving others.
Join us as we dive into strategies for lead generation, marketing, market trends, and client relationships.
Get ready to ignite your momentum and achieve your goals in real estate.
Let's dive in and unlock your full potential.
This is Momentum in Real Estate.
Today's guest is Kim Costa, a top performing real estate agent with Atlanta Fine Homes, Sotheby's International Realty, and a consistent 5-star producer from 2019 to 2024. Known as a living resource, Kim has a remarkable ability to find creative solutions and guide clients towards homes that truly support the way they want to live. She's also the author of In Your Wheelhouse, releasing March 24th, 2026, and hosts a podcast by the same name. Through her workshops at lifestylefoundations.com, Kim helps people intentionally design homes that support clarity, growth, and peak performance, blending real estate expertise with purposeful living. Welcome to the podcast, Kim.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so glad to be here.
We're so excited. So our first question for you is share your real estate story in your own words.
Okay, good. Yes. So I have been with the Sotheby's affiliate in Atlanta, Atlanta Fine Homes, since 2018. I started in 2017 on a team here on the north side of Atlanta. Really loved it, but then started realizing that I was getting calls and leaning towards a little bit more of the luxury market. And so I did just go ahead and join up with Sotheby's, and it's been great. Have been a top producer ever since for, gosh, I think it was 7 years in 2025. So just going to keep on going. And so before that, I was in residential real estate construction.
Wow. That's awesome. Well, I'm really curious to hear more about this Wheelhouse Method that
Yes.
you built and developed, and now you're authoring a book. Tell us like how that came to be and how did it really create contrast for you from other agents?
Sure. So, so I have a background also in human resource development. So the book is a cross between a great real estate guide as far as like buying your next home or renovating to make the home fit for you. So I like to say it's like Marie Kondo meets Tony Robbins because it's also, a self-development book based upon like in this next phase of your life, what do you want your life to look like? And does your home fit that vision of yourself? And so it goes through all of that. And my parents were human resource people. And so I just took the aspect, I couldn't help but I see people's potential and I see home's potential. And so the process just kind of developed out of, working with people and then also going through a lot of life change myself. And I would use the wheel of life, which is 8 categories like career, finance, family, all that stuff. And so every time someone was moving, I started categorizing themselves and myself into like improving a certain area or areas of your life. So that's how it got started. Me working with a coach using that tool. And then immediately after using that tool, almost subconsciously with my clients until I was like, wait, this is an actual framework that people could use to make sure they don't miss anything when they move or remodel. So that's kind of how it started.
Oh my goodness, I love that. Okay, so something we learned about you is that you built a dream house, or you thought it was a dream house, and that kind of shifted how you do business. So share with us that journey and that story and how it's helped you with your real estate career.
Sure. Okay, so back in 1998, I found the most gorgeous property here in North Atlanta in Milton. And it was like pristine and beautiful. It bordered a river and had a beautiful valley, and it was undeveloped. So my former spouse and I developed it into Clarity Farm, and it was absolutely stunning. But what I found after living there for several years was it didn't fit me. And even though it was like Southern living, cover worthy, I was kind of, I was doing the wrong hobbies. I was in the wrong career. I was an accountant in the construction business at the time. I'm an extrovert, and it was a remote farm. And it was just like, oh, this is such a beautiful home, but I'm kind of, it doesn't fit me. And so that's how the whole thing started, is that your home should be a reflection of you, like what your personality is, what your values are, what you like to do. And even though the home was gorgeous, like aesthetically, it just didn't fit me very well. And so I found myself moving after I broke my back. That's part of the story in the book. The home was so misaligned that I was riding horses when I'm really a golfer and a yogi. I really like my feet on the ground. And there I was on a horse and I broke my back. So that was the beginning of, wow, how I'm still walking. It's a miracle. Let me not get myself in this pickle again. And let's really examine what I want my life to look like. Because I'm way out of line here.
Wow, that's incredible. Like a real experience with misalignment
Yeah.
and then realizing like, wow, I need to course correct here. But
Yes.
then the way you translated that from like a personal experience into like actually your competitive advantage,
Yes.
as a real estate agent. So talk
Yes.
about like how you then, I mean, you've built a multi-platform brand
Right.
while being a high producing agent.
Right.
How tell us about that. I think we're
Yes.
curious how to kind of diversify, but
Yes.
have like this consistency around your brand.
Yes, so the brand is consistent. It's, live in your wheelhouse. So in my real estate, I do a deep dive with my clients to make sure we don't leave any stone unturned. Because when, you probably remember when things were really, really crazy in the market, and like everyone was like multiple offers and you had to get the offer in, and some people waived inspection and some people didn't even see the house. Well, that was reflected in very high buyer's remorse rates in 23 and 24. Like they skyrocketed. And so as I was helping people and go and working on this process, I was like, we can't have this anymore. So the message is the same, whether it's with my actual clients, on my podcast, in my book, and now I'll be starting to run workshops that bring people through the process, say 16 to 20 people at a time. We'll take some time to go through each of the areas, have a question and answer. I love hearing people's stories. Like fascinated with that. And it fits my personality. And so it's like, doesn't matter what the platform is, like talking with y'all here today, the point is client focus. Let's be client focused. Let's determine what is out of alignment and what parts of their lives and their homes need to stay, go, or reno, because that's the ultimate decision people are going to make after going through the workshop or the book or listening to a podcast or speaking with me personally. We're going to decide what fits them best. It's not about me wearing, and I love a nice car and, nice clothing, but half the time I have like hunter boots on, tromping through. So it's about authenticity. It's about not necessarily being shiny and transactional, although we want to run a good transaction. It's about the authenticity of the home buyer or the home seller or the home remodeler or the home stayer, whatever they want to do. It's not about me. It's about them.
I love that. I could just sit here and listen to you talk for for a while. Um, so share with us, it sounds like you really do turn any type of failure or any type of thing into just like a learning experience. And I
Yeah.
love that about who you are. So share with us, do you have other failures or failing forward moments where you use that as fuel to fuel your business and your life?
Sure. So many. I mean, unless you're unless you're failing in some things, you're not trying hard enough, in my opinion, because it is absolutely inevitable that you're going to fail. I really hope people don't fail in finding the right home. Let's try to eliminate most of that. But another huge, I don't necessarily call it a failure because I learned from it and it brought me to where I am now. But when I broke my back at that farm, which was called Clarity Farm, like for real, I mean, I did not make that up. It was called, it still is. No, it isn't called Clarity Farm anymore, but it was called Clarity Farm. And I broke my back and was stuck at home in a walker, just barely getting around. And I started writing again because I've always liked to write. But I just got so busy that I put it aside. And my personality's ENFP. That's the Mark Twains, the Oscar Wildes, the Sandra Bullocks, they're all telling a story. The Robin Williams, all the fun people. And I was doing accounting. Hello. Um, I started to write again because my kids were being taken care of, brought to and from school. I was stuck at home. And so I wrote the Oprah Winfrey show about how all my friends had helped me. It was an essay contest. So it just like disappeared back in the day into the ethers of the Oprah show. And turns out that I got a call, several weeks, maybe even a month or so later that I had won. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is great. So what validation that it is, that it is actually a skill and something that I love. Well, then I told the Oprah show because they said, well, you won, you're going to come to the show, tell your friends, but we want to come to your house and interview you. And I was like, oh no, I told them, no, you may not come to my house. So that's kind of a big old F on that assignment. Here I won the writing contest, got picked to be the primary interview. And then I was like, no, I mean, I can't even walk. I can't get the house ready. It's 40 acres. It's like, I don't need millions of people seeing me and my house in this disarray. So I said no. So that at the time, I put it out of my head. I just kept moving. But later on, I was like, I cannot believe I didn't take advantage of that opportunity. So that's a failure. However, it was the impetus to me changing my life because I was like, I broke my back doing a hobby I wasn't supposed to do. I turned down a huge opportunity, even though I'm a writer. If, the Oprah show says you've won the essay contest, you should probably go ahead and say yes. But I didn't. But now it's brought me to where I am. So those failures forced me to take a really hard look at myself and what I wanted to do the rest of my life. So I didn't miss opportunities anymore. Yeah.
And even not leveraging that opportunity doesn't take the win away from you. You still
True.
won the essay contest.
Yes.
And so there's still like a feather in your cap in terms of like an accomplishment, an achievement, maybe that you could have leveraged differently. A win is a win,
That's right. That's
so I
right.
think that's just some perspective to maintain around that. And I think that's part of how we capture like the wins, even if the big picture felt like a missed opportunity.
Right.
I think it's sort of how we craft the narrative around our experiences.
I
Um,
totally agree. And now I am, taking advantage of that story to show people like it is never too late. I'll be 60 and I was 35 when I broke my back. And so it is never too late to be who you were meant to be. And it's never too late to live in the home and have the lifestyle that you've always dreamed of. Like when I was little, I always wanted a horse, but I never wanted a 40-acre farm. I know myself better. I am not a daily maintenance kind of gal. And so live and learn.
a lot of work. That's amazing. Well, talk to us a bit more about, you transitioned into real estate around
Yes.
50.
Yes, I did.
So talk to the listener or the viewer who is kind of in your shoes of like, gosh, this feels silly to try to transition into a
Yeah.
new career, a new lane, so to speak, at XYZ age, whatever that
Yes.
might be. What's your
Yeah.
message to that
Oh my
person?
gosh. Honestly, I want to do this for the next like 30 years. I want to talk about this. I want to be on podcasts. I want to keep writing. I want to meet people. And back in the day, like years and years and years ago, we didn't live past 40 or so. Now, my mom's 89. She's doing great. I would love to, be really happy and healthy and getting around, into my 90s. So, I listened to a great podcast. It's like The Modern Elder. Chip Conley said something very interesting when I was listening to him. He said, once we hit 18, we're an adult. And then many of us think we're going to live into our 90s. And so when you hit 18 to in your 90s, your midlife is around 55 or 60. And so you have all that time, and he's calling his movement the modern elders, which I think is really interesting because I think I could be doing something worthwhile for the next 30 years. And so why would I want to waste that time? Let's not, I mean, let's start maybe when we're 40, but a lot of us don't, we're raising families, we're finishing careers, and then we have a second career. Like I have reinvented myself. We have time to do this. We really do.
Okay, thinking about you and your transition to Sotheby's, it sounds like luxury was like a big draw.
Hmm.
So how did that come about? Tell us a little bit about luxury in the moment now and what your goals are with that.
Sure. It came about because I liked the team I was on, but I had already run my own company for 30 years and helped other people run theirs. And so, but I knew I needed to learn about real estate. So I joined a really good team here in Roswell, Georgia. And, you get on the phone and this is how you learn. They train you how to sort of cold call people. And I did quite well. I think I had 7 listings my first month out. Like, so it was like, wow, everyone listen to Kim. What is she saying to people on the phone? So I started off that way. But then I was going after this luxury estate on a lake, a local lake here in North Georgia, really pretty home. And the fella said to me, well, you're really not with a luxury brand. And I really want a boutique luxury marketing brand. And I was like, so you're going to say no because of that? I could sell your home. And he was like, yeah, but I want the marketing of a luxury brand. And I was like, oh gosh, I think I need to make a change because I'm missing out on this. 10 years ago, I think it was a $1.4 million home. And I realized the average of the company I was with was like 323,000. And my listings were more like 800 and something. And I missed out on the 1.4 because he didn't think I was with the right brand. And I was like, well, much as I love these folks, I need to make a change because that's my wheelhouse. I had built and lived in luxury homes and the area is fairly affluent that I live in. And so like I would miss the mark if I didn't align with the right company. And so ever since then, it's just been gangbusters. Yeah.
I love that. I want to talk a bit about the niche, for lack of a better word, of like, clients who are divorcing,
Mm.
life changes happening, like it or not. How do you navigate the keep or sell conversation with
Hmm.
clients who are separating, moving in different directions when it comes to their home?
Yes. I am divorced and these are kind of my people. I understand that it's moving is one of the top 3 stressors, but divorce and or death of a spouse, just that loss is in the top
Mhm.
3 as well. So like you're adding a potential move onto an already stressful situation. And I encourage people, if they can, to push the pause button for a minute. If, and not make that decision to some people aren't able, some people have to move right away. And I always say, is there somewhere you could go temporarily? Making a huge decision within a year of that divorce could be the wrong decision because you might make it hastily. You really need to settle back into your new lifestyle and really look at who you are, not partnered up, how that change looks. Also, if you are going to stay in the home, it's a financial consideration, it's a family consideration. It's, there's sometimes children involved. Can you maintain the home physically by yourself? Do you feel safe there? all the things that you have to consider. And so it's a quick decision. If they could even take 6 months to just stay where they are, not make any changes, and then consider where they want to be. I myself went to a temporary home, a luxury apartment. I was going to move into the city and, do all these fun things in town. And this was years later, and I ended up staying exactly where I was because my kids needed to stay at school. But just having that temporary space where someone else maintained everything while I reinvented myself was very helpful. I just kind of didn't have a lot of extra stuff I had to make decisions about.
That is so good. I'm almost like, I want to talk to Kim about me and my family. And
Well, good. I
tell
love
me if
talking to
I need
people.
to know.
I really do.
I love that. I want to talk a little bit about you being a controller and an accountant and what you feel like you took from your business that has helped you strengthen your real estate career.
Oh, yeah. First of all, so I was a general controller. So not only one little job I had for a moment was about like in the weeds, in the details of the accounting. Mine was more of a holistic picture of the company as to like what centers are profitable and how are they running, and then advising the business owner to make decisions on different departments in the company. I loved that general view. So I wasn't your typical accountant. In fact, some people called me an accountant with a personality just because I couldn't stand to be in the office for 8 hours. I had to come out and talk to the department heads and people in the company, and then I could go back in and do some more work. So that was a clue the job was not for me. But but I think what I took from that job is I just did a comparative market analysis this morning for a client, and I love trying to get the most money possible, because you're going to have to prove that price to an appraiser possibly. But you also don't want to leave money on the table. So I sat for about 2 hours and crunched those numbers, and that I still love crunching those numbers. But I also look at people as an asset. And I think that's how I came up with the framework, is that there are 8 different departments in my framework of the whole person. And so where are we in the red and where are we personally profitable, I guess we could say. Like, is career suffering because you live too far away from your office and you don't have a workspace at home? So that would be a 2. And you want everything, around a 7 or above on the scale of 1 to 10. And so if you're in the red, that to me, it kind of is an accountancy of your environment. So I'm still kind of doing that as a system, but just more with people's needs.
That's amazing. And I'm actually really interested to dive deeper into your website, your methodology. It's really intriguing. And I just love just our conversation has just revealed like you just have this holistic approach, to your own life, but then also like that translates to your work with clients. So
Mm.
this has been really enlightening, and I'm really excited about your book releasing this month. Congratulations. That's a huge accomplishment. And yeah, we look forward to following you and seeing where this goes and where this leads, and I'm sure our listeners and viewers will do the same. So, thanks for giving of your time today. This has just been a fabulous conversation.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for having me. It's been great.
You're awesome. Thanks, Kim.
Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Momentum in Real Estate. We hope you found valuable insights and strategies to propel your real estate journey forward.
If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe to our podcast and leave us a review. Your feedback helps us continue to deliver content that resonates with you. Remember, success in real estate is about continuous learning, growth, and serving others. Keep that momentum going and watch your business thrive.
Until next time, keep pushing forward and bringing your real estate dreams to life.
This is Cory Wall
and Kristin James signing off from Momentum in Real Estate.